This is taking a look at some of the layouts in the new cloud theme for Higher Logic CMS. Now this is using the all content list. I like that widget a lot. It's actually really powerful, and so I'm just showing my columns here. Um, I can do so generally, or just out of the box. The Higher Logic gives you just default one column, but we can do two, three, four, even up to five. I like the three column when we're using the full width section. Um, and it's a better looking layout than just the regular one column. But I feel like we're still missing something. We could use some images in here. So I'm going to show you one way with Cloud Theme. Let's just do that with CSS. And from what I can tell, I think Higher Logic is, I think they're working on getting like a featured image in WordPress, some other content management systems. It's usually called featured image, which you can attach to a certain type of content, a page, or I don't know, possibly a discussion post. I would expect Higher Logic to let an author assign some kind of image to a discussion post, maybe, or at least for a blog. So some of these are blog posts, I think. It's hard to tell. This one's a blog. And this one's actually just a page called articles. That's a meeting. I think that's a meeting. But let's say I wanted to add in some kind of image to articles, and I'm not sure I want images on all of them. So with the cloud theme, you may need to do a little bit of debugging, but we have the hooks in place. We need to add some images to this this grid of our content. So this one, it's using the search result title articles, and it gives it the class item articles. So what I'm going to do real quick, item articles, and I know that there's an H3 heading 3. All these have a heading 3 with a link inside. So I'm going to do item articles H3A, and this is my pseudo element before. It creates like kind of like a fake element that you can just use for styling, or actually even adding text. So, and I can assign some content. So normally it would just be kind of blank content, but I could actually add text. I could just say, hey now, and you can see it puts it up there. I actually want an image, so what I'm going to do is use until it's display block background. Just get a gray background for now so I can see where it is. I'm going to add a little margin, 10 pixels to the bottom, and then my content, I'm just going to have that be blank, but then assign a height of maybe 90 pixels. And so you could just use it for some styling. I could just, if I wanted all my articles, or maybe I could base that on a tag and color code some of my content here. But I'm just gonna keep this gray height. Let's go 130. Oops, 130 pixels. Now it's just gray, but I can assign a background image here. So if I go back over, these are, I usually have a tab with this open. These are all the images I've uploaded into Higher Logic. And so maybe I want to use my super forum. I'm going to copy that image logo. So with this element, I'm going to say background image URL, then I'm going to throw my URL in there. Then I'm going to size it a little bit. Background size, cover, background position. I want to center that. It's kind of cutting off weird, so I'm going to tell it to center what's in there. And you can see this may not be the perfect image. You're going to want to figure out the kind of the aspect ratio of the images you're going to be using. So right now I might just make this 160, maybe 180, so we can see all of the logo. So you can see there with just a few lines of CSS, we have an image, and luckily using the pseudo elements, it's automatically linked also. And with Cloud Theme, the entire result is linked. And then if I can preview different columns. Oh, and one good thing to bring up, so I'm using the columns right now instead of the grid. If I use the grid, that looks kind of weird now, because instead of like the columns is more of like kind of a cascading style, kind of like a Pinterest layout. The grid, if I only have one or two images, the grid's not going to look that good unless I have images for all of them. So I can just show you what that might look like. So what I could do, I'm going to make a new one. Search results. That's the class you get on with the all content list, or I think it was called Common Search. I'm not sure what it's officially called. But so anything within search results, I'm going to look for my H3A boink boink before, and then content. So maybe I wanted like some kind of default image for all these, and then I can pepper in like my more photographic ones. But I'll just see blank content, background, light gray. And then it was margin bottom 10 pixels, height was 180 px. Oh, display block. Okay, so now I have a default image, and actually I can make this made that a little more specific, so I can get my image in there. So now I've got, I might go back to 3 column. Okay, I kind of like this layout. So now I could assign some kind of default image if I didn't have anything specifically for it. And now you can see when I use the grid, so I'm using grid instead of columns now, because I do have images for everything. I probably don't need to use that Pinterest layout. I can use the grid, which is a Flexbox grid. So yeah, depending if you want to have images for everything or just images for just some of your search results in this layout. And I think I just want them for just a couple items. I illustrated this one. So this is a discussion, and I just went into the this discussion detail, and I just pulled an image out from that discussion. So it was already posted in the discussion, and I just created a custom CSS for it. Now, which is we have some flexibility with using the CSS for featured images, because maybe this Phil Foss guy posted something I didn't like. Maybe it was, copyrighted material, or it was inappropriate for my, my my dashboard here, my discussion dashboard. So as the community manager with the cloud theme, you can go ahead and decide, okay, is this image appropriate? Okay, I'm going to feature that image. Could go through, all the discussions. I could even just create icons based on the the community. So this one, if we do some debugging here, okay, so we've got two classes. One is item, some new thread title. Oh, okay, so start item, some new thread title, but the other one is com wireframe. So most of these discussions are coming from ABPL, but it's kind of hard to tell. They all look kind of the same. So I can say any of my list items inside or that have the class com wireframe, I can say background white, border top, solid orange. Okay, so that could be a neat way to call out like a certain type of content if you want, using the grid and just a little bit of CSS. Maybe I don't need a full image there. I just want it to show, just make it a little different. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. So that shows you a couple ways to add some style and images to your grid layouts.